Oh man. Hello everyone. Welcome back. Hello. Good evening. Welcome back to Super Week. Friend or Foe Season 7 Super Week. We're here for Week 5, Day 2. We're here for Game 1, Universal Basic Income versus Oversoul Esports Incarnate. This is the start of the second half. This is the part where everyone gets to start their rematches. Big news for those who haven't heard, Olympus Amber has withdrawn, so a little bit of a schedule shift is happening. Plus, you know, teams are sort of getting a free day off. On top of that, for later today, Pandas with Hats has also forfeited, but we'll get to that later as well. My name is Chris Sunga. I'll be your play-by-play caster today, and here with me is Theracles. How are you, Theracles?
Doing fantastic. I'm excited to see these two teams in particular. Oversoul Esports has really just made a huge coming onto the scene this year, just really killing it. And, Universal Basic Income, all previous champions, I think, to some degree,
Yeah.
and kind of struggling to find their footing here in some of this really tough competition they've got going on. So we got some bigger games coming for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Universal Basic Income, 4-time champions. Obviously, a lot of the original championship roster is now has now departed. Some of them retired, some of them on different teams. But YUBI still has still a core group of players, very solid players, and Oversoul Esports just absolutely amazing so far in the first half of the split. We're excited to see how they perform in the second half. So yeah, Universal Basic Income, first picks, Kaisa Thresh, taken off the board right away. We've seen a lot of priority on Kaisa the past few days. And Tristana Milio over the side of Oversoul Esports. Milio going over to Scarlouis, who's brand new support here to FOF. Started, I believe, last week, might have been the week before, can't remember, but is the new starter support for Oversoul Esports. Thoughts on these picks so far, Theracles?
Yeah, me and you, we both played and spent some time here on the FO stage in the bot lane, so some good things that we could definitely talk about here. Amelia, of course, not during our time, but I think Kaisa Thresh is a fantastic lane, especially with the Static Shiv still being pretty good on Kaisa, and she's also got a lot of diverse build options, so she can really kind of adapt to some of the things that are coming out throughout the draft. So I think that's a solid first pick from Yumi, and then also Volibear's been pretty much a staple. A lot of the teams have played him throughout the seasons in different capacities, so could we go on top, could we go in jungle? Definitely a possible flex we've seen time and time again, and Utility Monster is pretty happy to play that. He loves getting the highlight reel where he turns the towers off, so.
Absolutely. Yeah, Ultravox hasn't played Volibear once this season yet, but so far has actually played like almost a new champion every game. So I mean, I think the exception was like 2 Poppy games, so it could be Volibear top still. I still have no idea how Ultravox top lane champion pool how that is. I'm very curious. We're used to seeing Ultravox as an AD carry from way back when, since he started, I believe, season 5. He first came into FOF. Okay, Volibear Trundle being picked up as well. Second round of bans being taken away. Malphite Ziggs taken away from YUBI. And Jax Victor banned by Oversoul Esports. We have maybe mid lane, maybe top lane picks still waiting in the wings for the second round of picks. We saw Tristana mid yesterday against, I believe it was Fat Pikachu. I think it was still Oversoul Esports that was doing. I can't remember. Someone's gonna have to remind me. I can't remember. I could be wrong. But Oriana picked, so that is definitely not a Tristana mid, but Oriana picked for Freedom Potatoes. Thoughts on the Ori pick?
I'm not sure if we've seen them bust out the Oriana yet. I think Freedom Potatoes has been a really strong player through the season, and when we kind of look at these two teams going head to head, I do expect a lot of this action to be kind of between the mid-jungle skirmishes. Civlock and Utility Monster, they've got a lot of experience together, of course, being the members originally from the team that are sticking around. So I'd be real happy to see how it kind of plays out between, those two veterans together versus these two coming in really hot, really strong. I'd like to see some of that battle coming out.
Camille picked up for Ultravox. Okay, this is new. Okay, no Camille yet so far this season. As far as I can remember, I don't think he played it yesterday. But Camille, okay, as far as I've always seen it, we don't see a whole lot of Camille in FOF Heroic. We've seen a ton of Camille FOF Mythic way back when, and a lot of it is just due to the high skill cap that you can have with Camille and what you can do in the mid game, late game with that champion if you've mastered it. We've seen players like Burst Limit try to essentially become a Camille one trick, getting it banned from him every game way back when. And Annie, staple pick for Clovis, for Civolock. Civolock is always low-key complaining that he has to always play Annie, but it's a good champion for him. He plays well, very exceptional at it. And we have Mordekaiser picked up from Oversoul Esports, so that's going over to Limster. So yeah, I'm excited to see how these games will go, how this game will go, this draft. Thoughts on both team compositions so far, Theracles?
I'm really liking that YUBI is coming back to their roots, kind of things that they're used to playing, comfortable. I'm really excited to see kind of how it shakes up and how they're able to really execute it. I'd love to see them get some footing, but honestly, I think Oversoul's Esports Incarnate, their draft looks fantastic. They've got a lot of tools and team fights that they can really, control the pace of the game if they're able to find a lead. So I don't think they're going to find it. So I think I'm still going to give the edge to Oversoul in this case.
Okay. Okay, I think I'd have to agree with you. I like Oversoul Esports' team composition. I think the objectives of the game are very obvious to them, very natural. But I think we're ready to go to game, so let's get into it. Let's get into game. Universal Basic Income versus Oversoul Esports Incarnate. Let's get to it. Here we go.
That's right, loading up on the Rift, and immediately we're going to go ahead and make a note here that looks like Navi is playing up in the top lane, and Ultravox is actually going to be stepping back into the bot lane for this game. A lot of experience in the last couple seasons playing AD carry, so really excited to see that. You know, him and Zenzen played together a lot together too, so I think that's going to find a pretty good amount of success, and I think that could be a real game changer for this.
Yeah, absolutely. Ultravox, one of the star AD carries back from Season 5, even when he played in Season 6, Season 7 being his third season in FOF. I was very curious how this was all going to go when he decided to play top lane for Universal Basic Income. I was very curious to see what that actually meant for the team. We got a really speedy drone over Summoner's Rift today. God. Yeah. Feels like anytime I control a drone that it we do those insane caffeine shots where we just go and we slow it down later. I don't know if anyone's gonna relate to me on that one. Anyway, okay. Vision coming through. Civil Lock, a little close to danger right there, but able to just walk out fine, gets that ward for them. I mean, it looks like OVS was actually prepared for that kind of ward. 5-pointing to ensure that they know where where anything might happen should anyone try to invade. Yeah. But he successfully gets the ward. No problem.
Yeah. And with that, they know that Trundle's starting top, so that's going to go and let the UB members go ahead and start in that bottom bush. Maybe put a little bit of cheeky play coming forward to them. Mordecai a little bit late to lane. Maybe a Navi can set something off based off that. But yeah, I'm going to be excited to see how that shakes up a little bit. Civillock here, going to be rocking the Ghost. That's going to be probably a lot more crucial here in the late game, finding those real good ultis for them later on.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm very curious about a Navi top lane. And Navi, this isn't. I don't know what the strat is or what the idea is. Not to say that it's a bad idea or anything. It's probably a good idea for whatever it is that UB is trying to do. But the idea to put your AD carry, who honestly has been performing decently well throughout Friend of Foe Season 7, and to put him top lane and put an old AD carry back into the bot lane. I'm curious to know what happened over the weekend, what might have happened last night. They lost yesterday, unfortunately, and I don't know if they just sat down and was like, let's try Ultravox AD carry. Let's see if this is a better way to do it. I don't know what happened there. I'm very curious.
Yeah, I'd be pretty interested to see how that shakes up too. Putting a lot of pressure here in the bot lane. Does maybe give Swifty an angle if he wants to come down, spend some time there. Could be looking play. A lot of damage traded here in the top.
Oh, yeah, Navi is showing for a lot of top lane prowess. Level 3, Limster gets that shield, and Navi decides that that's his cue to back off. Lots of damage up in the top lane, but yeah, okay, really aggressive early. Didn't expect to see that from a person who hasn't played top lane in FOF Season 7 so far, but I don't know if he's, normally a top laner in solo queue or anything like that. I don't know yet.
That's true. We see Thresh getting chased in the jungle here.
Yeah, Zenzen going for some roam towards mid lane, gets caught out by Swifty, ends up getting that hook, but Swifty just gonna walk that out. Both mid laners were on their way to help each other out. Curious where he was going there, but might have just been a mid lane roam.
Yeah, trying to get some vision down. Probably knew that he'd be somewhere around Scuttle, so roam kind of makes sense. Looks like Swifty's looking at Civillock here too. A lot of movement.
Civillock lands a stun onto Freedom Potatoes, but Swifty is in the wings. Utility Monster is also in the wings. Civillock running really low. 1 HP, has to flash over the wall to safety. Freedom Potatoes now on the back pedal. Civillock trying to stay slightly in the wings to help his teammate, but Utility Monster and Swifty just gonna decline the 1v1 and just walk away.
Yeah, that's true. And with that, they trade Civillock's flash for Swifties. So Civillock's going to have to play a lot more careful. Also burning the Ghost in that exchange. So going to have to really be careful. Give Swifty some opportunity to come back. Of course, his flash is down as well, but also more action.
Yeah, Utility Monster here in the top lane for a gank. No flash on Limster. Limster only has Ghost, has already activated. First Blood goes over to Utility Monster and the Navi here in the top lane. All right, okay, man. Dude,
You told me to do it, brother. I did it.
I totally forgot I told you could use the soundboard today. I am so sorry, Twitch. I am so sorry, people who watch the VOD later. I apologize.
It was too good. First Blood's a fantastic
Yeah.
celebration, so we're gonna go ahead and give First Blood the sound
Yeah.
horn. Yeah.
I hope that came off on stream because otherwise we sound really, really silly there. But
Yeah,
I
we
think it
just started
did.
laughing out of nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, lane states now. I mean, Civillock is in a tough spot. Didn't have teleport or anything to get back to lane quickly. And since that early gank happened, like he's down basically about 10 CS right now. Freedom Potatoes has a lot more in his wave as well. So, I mean, lane state for Civillock a little bit unlucky for him because that level 1, or sorry, I think I was like level 3, level 4 gank. So I'm curious to see how Freedom Potatoes and Swifty, if they recognize this, what they actually do to capitalize it. There's a little bit of a gank from Utility Monster in the mid lane, but it looks like he's just there to break Freedom Potatoes' wave and make sure that Civillock is able to continue his lane safely.
A lot of CS is going back into Orianna, so that is going to balloon it a little bit. But with that pressure, they are going to move into Dragon. I think it's a really smart play. OVS is, in a decent position to contest, so kind of to see what the play is here.
Yeah, okay, we see Swifty and company on the wings. Ultra Fox has to flash over the pillar. YUBI actually let go of control of this dragon, and this means OVS are gonna look. Oh my god, Civillock ending up getting solo killed by Freedom Potatoes through all of that. That's why YUBI had to leave. Nice shockwave to keep 2 members of YUBI away, but Utility Monster with the flash, he can't get the stun, but Navi is in the wings. He is here to catch Freedom Potatoes. Nice hook by Zen to secure it. 1 kill over to Universal Basic Income, 1 kill over to OVS, but a dragon in OVS's favor.
Yeah, so OVS ended up getting the dragon. It seems like YUBI was a little split there on the decision making. That Ultra Box was kind of left alone on the island, which is a little bit unfortunate. And then off screen, Freedom Potatoes pushes that advantage, gets the kill on Civillock, and then we see the greatest around the world in 80 minutes escape play where his shockwave is beautiful. However, all members of YUBI collapse on it to make sure he doesn't get away with murder. So
Yeah.
I guess good rotation from that, making the best out of worse situations. So.
Yeah, good idea by Utility Monster and company to just chase after Orianna in that moment because Dragon was definitely lost there. Civillock was so low, couldn't help his teammates, and it was just too tragic for them to try to fight the Dragon. So great thoughts by Utility Monster and team. Well done.
Yeah. Gold lead is slightly in YUBI's favor, but nothing that's not insurmountable. Game state still seems to be pretty even. Could be anybody's game. Really nothing decided quite yet. I think both teams are going to be fighting scaling, so it's probably going to be pretty smooth sailing, at least for the next 10 minutes. I don't think we'll see a winner for a while. So,
Sure. Yeah, nothing too big. Both these teams are the types of teams to just, really go for the fights at the neutral objectives and not fight for no reason, except for, obviously these lane ganks that happens every now and then. So these teams will definitely be patient. I say that, and Zen's going for a really aggressive hook. Doesn't get it. Doesn't get it because of the minion wave coming through. But that is okay. Skarlui, also highlight of yesterday rather, as well, had a crazy good game on Rakan, ended up getting MVP. Very curious to see how he plays the Milio. He was very aggressive with his vision, very aggressive with taking control of certain points in the map. We see Utility Monster in the wings. Zen scanning out these bushes to make sure Utility Monster can enter. Yeah. I don't know if OVS will smell this. Yeah, okay, Zen. Ooh, Zen going for the flash hook lantern as well, bringing Utility Monster a kill right on to Skarlui. Skarlui goes down to Universal Basic Income. Great flash hook. Love that. The flay was missed, but that's okay. I don't think it was even necessary. The hook was just in case as well. So, great play.
Yeah, I really like that kind of aggression. This is a really great play classic, even if you would. The Thresh Lantern does give you a lot of more angles for the jungler to work with, especially for Volibear, who's just kind of forced to run at them. So I'm liking the teamwork that they've got going on there. And with that, they're going to pick up another kill and, put themselves back on pace for whatever objectives they're looking for next. And they're going to pay for it with a blue buff, but I think it's a fantastic trade.
Ooh, Civillock uses Tibbers on Freedom Potatoes, brings him down to half health. Gonna make Freedom Potatoes have to back off from this lane and be a little bit more wary. Swifty, on the other hand, grabbing Utility Monster's jungle on the top side since Utility Monster had that big play. Oh, but he's still down here, and Skarloey just gets punished again the moment he arrives to lane. Utility Monster just waiting in the wings. Meanwhile, in the top lane, lots of damage onto a Navi. Swifty is also here, and Navi gets slammed into the ground by Limster. 1 kill over to them. This tower, OVS tower on the bot side, gonna go down to YUBI fairly shortly, but Rift Herald being sent in the top lane to counter. Fantastic macro play from both sides. I'm curious to see which team gets first tower first. It's still gonna look like it might be YUBI, but still might be a while away.
Yeah, a lot of things happen there. You know, putting a lot of pressure on the top and the bottom, like you said, looks like YUBI favored for this. Definitely a small little mental battle for Skarloey to be going over that double back to back death. We've all been there. You know, it can be a tilter. So I'm excited to see how he kind of like shakes that off and continues to perform for the rest of this game. It's a real defining and hard skill for players to pick up. So we'll see how that kind of goes out. Almost gets the top tower in exchange, but not quite. But this is putting Limster in a pretty good spot. And Navi, again, nothing's been decided for this lane, so still has room to do it, but still a little bit more uncomfortable. Summoner spells back on the table here for Civillock. Means he can play aggressive and start to be making some type of play, especially with Dragon coming up here in the next 30 seconds. I'm sure we'll be seeing a battle over that. And on the flip side, Navi will not have teleport while Limster will, so could be a small player diff if they're not able to manage how they want to manage that rotation. So
yeah. Okay, lane assignments are going out. We're seeing bot lane start to go mid lane here, getting more prio on this dragon, making Orianna have to back off slightly. Hook does not land. Swifty grabs the scuttle. Did Swifty grab the scuttle, or is that utility? Yeah, okay, Swifty grabbed it. Okay, big fight for control of this dragon. It's going to be a lot of dancing around, a lot of just trying to get these waves as they bounce to the middle. But it looks like YUBI are getting pushed out slightly by OVS's jungler, losing slight control of this dragon. Zenzen now behind Dragon Pit. Ultravox separated from his teammate. Almost got caught by Swifty there. Utility Monster going for a deep ward into their side, into OVS's side of the jungle. Now it is 4v4 inside this river. Lots of tension, lots of waiting. Swifty and Utility Monster literally staring at each other. Zenzen lands the first hook. Does it count? Swifty gets brought down to half health, but is that enough for the fight to start? It looks like it is. Shockwave goes through. Swifty goes down to Utility Monster. Skarloey and Livfrith are running really low on health. Freedom Potatoes, the only one at full HP. Livfrith has to jump away. Kaisa ulti goes through. Ultravox gets the kill onto Livfrith. Skarloey, ooh, just 20% HP left. YUBI gets this dragon for sure.
Yeah, great play by YUBI there. We were a little concerned that the players were split, so I was afraid I was going to have another repeat of what happened last time. They were able to get it together a little better this time, forcing the Death Realm here.
Yeah, Limster going for the 1v1 on a Navi. He won the 1v1 last time, and Navi is trapped in the Shadow Realm, but does go down over to Limster, and the quack sound by Theracles on the soundboard.
Hey, we don't have to know who did it, okay? I'm just saying, you know, the Mordekaiser bonk feels kind of bad sometimes, so that's...
Oh, hook on from Zenzen onto Freedom Potatoes. Freedom Potatoes running really low on HP, but Ultravox has no mana. Freedom Potatoes like 10% HP left. Swifty and Skarloey now here to protect their mid laner. Just everyone going to be backing off here.
Yeah, alright, resetting back to that. Could have been a little worse for OVS, but a good flash puts them back in the way. We got Civillock running top side, trying to bounce out the wave. 1-to-1 dragon. So again, like I said, there's a lot of things happening, but I don't think anything's really decided yet. A lot of the gold is being put on Utility Monster with that 303 line. Must feel good for his KDA. Ultravox, you know, going forward in a lot of these aggressive plays is paying off really well. So really well done on your performance there. And on the
Utility Monster's Tuesday stat is going to be insane. I think he's mostly won on Tuesdays and mostly lost on Mondays. That's from what we're seeing.
True. Everyone's going to go ahead and start putting pressure here on the mid lane. But with nothing else really up, it's just kind of buying time and really just waiting for people to kind of mess up in their rotations, I think. So we'll see how that goes with members starting to all funnel here into the mid lane for the ARAM special.
Yeah, here we go. YUBI members all kind of converging towards this mid lane. Livfrith has to answer that bot lane wave. So if UB is recognizing this, they could try to go for something. It would be a 5v4 until Lifrith is able to join. But Lifrith has caught the wave, so no engage will happen. Zenzen literally 1v3 just fighting for wards right now. Has to flash away from Limster. Very aggressive warding by a lot of the supports here in FOF Season 7. But okay, all 5 members from both sides now converge towards this mid lane, towards this Baron River. And Navi getting caught out on the wrong side of the wall. No Thresh Lantern is available, and Navi gets caught out. OVS get another kill. A lot of them are poised for this Baron. Oh, I'm so sorry. No, it's still just Rift Herald. A lot of them poised for this Rift Herald. This is going to be an easy take for them. Everyone on the side of Yubi just going to have to back off because they didn't get anything out of that.
Yeah, and, like we were saying, there's a lot of tension. You might think it's a Baron, but no, we're still very early on into this game. So a lot of pressure being applied in different situations. But like I said, it's really just waiting for someone to make a mistake. Oh, and the shockwave.
Ooh, Ultravox gets shockwave by Freedom Potatoes, but there's no actual follow-up to go through it there. But Zen lands a hook, the Flay goes through, so does the Thresh ulti. We have the Milio ulti to clear Freedom Potatoes out of that, but a 1-for-1 still happens. Ultravox takes down Swifty. All Utility Monster takes down Freedom Potato, who's at a sliver of HP. Limster has teleported here too, but there's nothing for him to actually fight anymore. Now the rest of Yubi can just go back to playing their map tempo. We have Inavi now just pushing this bot side. This Dragon coming up in a minute and a half. Still a lot of time for both sides to set up vision, but this does mean should Zenzen decide to, he could get there first.
That's true. I was just about to say it was about someone making a mistake, which was in the first case was Inavi. However, if there's one thing I think Yubi's good at, especially their captain, Utility Monster, he knows how to play from behind. He knows good situations to flip the switch to take a fight. And I think that was really aggressive. A little bit greedy on OVS's part. There was no need to really just straight tower dive like that. It was really a little over the top. They had, Ultravox in a really low position that they could have just played it out instead of, getting hooked under a tower. So that's my big critique there. But, overall, well played by UB to recognize the flip mistake. And with that, like I said, nothing's really decided yet. Small balloon favor in UB, but we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah, no gigantic swing or anything. But Utility Monster, very shrewd of UB to go for this. They know that OVS has to eventually go for vision control of this Dragon Pit. So Utility Monster and Navi Zenzen hiding inside a bush. Do they decide to just stay here the whole time? Someone might face check. There's a chance. Swifty does get hooked here. Is that enough convincing of Yubi to start this fight? Swifty's running really low on HP, is starting to heal up though. Swifty does go down. Zenzen got shadow realmed by Limster. Limster will be able to take down support, but is that anything worth it right now? Limster now is going to start to go down. Oh, but that's a great shockwave, taking down almost 2 members of Universal Basic Income. Utility Monster still fighting 20% HP. Lifrith is going to go down to Ultravox. Yubi now have numbers advantage. Skarloui gets Kaisa ultied. Ultravox double kill. Freedom Potatoes, the only person left alive to contest this. Now another free dragon goes over to Universal Basic Income.
Yeah, with that, controls, rendered, but looks like more battling here as they chase down Freedom Potatoes, maybe? Okay, probably not. Okay, that's okay. On the flip side...
Sibylok has flash. It might happen. Okay, no.
Okay, we're good. We're good.
Yeah.
The patience there kind of paid off. Zenzen's been really good at finding these hooks, finding these picks. And the Limster really was just trying to buy as much time for the members to, kind of collapse, and he was doing great for the most part. Freedom Potatoes with the shockwaves was fantastic. However, Kaisa's pretty huge right now, so you can't really ignore that. And just kidding, we're not done. We are not done.
Yeah, Freedom Potatoes still on the run, still on the Great Escape. Is going to use that W to slow Sibylok down. Sibylok's taking a lot of damage here. Finally, it decides to use the flash, but Zenzen ends up taking the kill after all of that with the Q. So kill goes over to him. Still well played. Nice try. Valiant effort by Freedom Potatoes. Nice try to escape.
Yeah, classic support. I think I'll just go ahead and take that if you don't mind after all my hard work. That Annie's support line with the 117.
Right.
So Sibylok, I think, is literally just trapped in his own personal purgatory right now. He's just forced to play support in disguise. So that's okay. We'll reset some lanes. Jungler's going to go ahead and be going back to the jungle. They are close, if not finished, with their respective jungle items for their smites. So we're chilling on those. Mythic items coming through. Pretty standard things. Kai'Sa with the Nashor Storm Razor that we talked about. Upgrades coming along nicely. Just, pretty standard builds. Nothing too crazy this game to talk about, I think, on that side.
Sure, that's fine. Well, we can talk about how this map is going to transpire soon. Baron is up in 10 seconds. I don't know if both of these teams are the type to try to just take instant prior right away and maybe do that dance. We saw that yesterday. I forget which game it was, but one game, two teams were really dancing Baron the moment it spawned for approximately, I felt like 5 minutes. But yeah, we'll see how they play it out. Starting to see more vision on the map from red side at the moment. So well done by Skarloey and team to get those vision wards down. But Zenzen gonna have to be escorted. He can't really walk by himself into any of these warding spots. He needs to be escorted because, I mean, sure, he's a Thresh, but the Thresh doesn't have that many escape options. He has many escape options for other people, but not for himself. So see who decides to be his escort. Hopefully it is Utility Monster. But yeah, all this vision in favor of OVS right now.
Yeah, and I think one of the biggest things to highlight about the game state is Kai'Sa is 5-0, which means I think at this point, they would have had a more rough time with the front to back, but with that kind of a lead, just 2, almost 3 items above the Tristana, just sitting on the Kraken and the boots, is going to have a real good time trying to shred through
Absolutely.
That. While on the flip side, Tristana is going to panic as a Navi and Utility Monster are just going to super dive right onto them and just kind of be forced to scramble. Limster is also going to have a hard time, I'm not sure who he really wants to be ulting anymore. Probably Civlock is his best choice to kind of stop the stunning. However, I don't think it's going to be really enough to have the rest of the members try and find a way onto Ultravox. So if they're not creative with how they want to play this map and, just not run at them in the 5v5, it's going to be their way back in the game. But I'm not quite sure what that situation would look like.
Sure. Okay, we're seeing Utility Monster hovering around that Baron. Just about to clear that vision right now. We saw these members all go towards their lane assignments right now, doing the usual 1-3-1. The big thing to note when that starts to happen is which pack of 3 or which pack of 2 decide to just start gunning it down one of the other sides. So we saw it earlier on the mini map. We saw Swifty and Limster start to go to Camille. They backed off a little bit, decided not to do it anymore. Same with Utility Monster and Civlock, deciding to try to go for Freedom Potatoes for a second. But everyone just playing very patiently, playing the macro game as well as they think they can do so. And it looks like OVS had to back off too many members, which means this mid lane tower finally goes down in favor of Universal Basic Income. Limster gets that scuttle for his team. This dragon up in a minute. Baron's still alive as well, but YUBI do end up a tower up now.
That's true. They'll be happy to take that gold in their pocket after all that pressure. The W from Kai'Sa is putting in a lot of poke damage, really doing work. That vision's going to feel real good as they have to try and find a way around that on their next objective. I'm pretty sure we'll have all summoners up for this next fight, so it'll be battle of mechanics for this next part. But yeah, I'm not really sure. We're just going to be doing our chores here, taking care of the waves, taking care of the jungle camps, and then trying to get everything in order for that, as the members are going to go ahead and start moving to remove said vision.
Sure.
Yeah. We'll see if Limster's caught here or not.
Okay, Utility Monster immediately sees Limster and starts charging at him. There are more YUBI members near Limster, but Utility Monster gets banished away from Limster. Now Limster is out of it, and now the shockwave grabs 3 people, but Limster goes down immediately. Civlock goes down as well. Utility Monster had to flash away. Lifrith now able to pepper down Utility Monster. He's going to go down as well. Both junglers going down. Skarloey is now dead. Swifty has to run away. Ooh, sliver of HP. Lifrith might have been too close to the enemy team. Double kill for Innavi. Swifty, the only one left. Nice snipe by Ultravox on the Kai'Sa. Ace for Universal Basic Income. Great plays by Innavi and Utility Monster there. And Ultravox, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, just really well played. Again, Limster finds Volibear, tries to, try and kill him, take that smite off the table for his team. Ends up just running around in circles as they buy time, and then is surrounded by members, is taken down very quickly. Freedom Potatoes again puts on a very fantastic shockwave, but it's just not quite enough. Elford just kind of jumps in a little excited there, not quite able to finish off the members, and Ultravox is left again to just absolutely shred through the remaining members of OVS. So Ultravox is just really just putting on the carry pants this game. I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's playing fantastic. Ultravox back in the AD carry position after playing top lane for so long in the first 5 weeks of FFS Season 7. Glad to see him back there. I've also been reported off screen in the meantime that Inavi is a top lane main. Which raises more questions for me. I'm like, okay, wait, why was Inavi not top lane to begin with and Ultravox not bot lane to begin with? But whatever. Yumi obviously knows things more than I do. Okay, this is going to be an all-in from Civilock. Finally, he gets his revenge on Freedom Potatoes and gets that one full combo all in, gets that solo kill on Freedom Potatoes. Utility Monster now charging at Lifrith. Lifrith has to jump away, has to ulti Utility Monster out, but Ultravox is here for the ulti, and Lifrith goes down. Ultravox's legendary Universal Basic Income are now clearly in the driver's seat. Limster trying to defend this mid lane tower, but the rest of Universal Basic Income have essentially just covered this entire topside map of OVS side of the jungle. Utility Monster clearing that vision. So many great plays, so much movement happening for both sides.
Yeah, I know you said driver's seat, but really they own the car. They didn't lease it. They got everything they want here. They're slapping their wallets around, and poor OVS, they're just stuck with their bicycle trying to get around, and it's just not feeling great. Poor Elfridge just trying to get away and just cannot find it. And for all that, Civilock's sitting on a fancy diamond 10 stack ring there, so he's feeling pretty good about himself. And then you were just gonna go ahead and take that Baron, and I would not be surprised if we have finally seen the slow, painful end on this. So
yeah. I mean, everyone was so patient the first 15-20 minutes of this game. It's now definitely just broken open. Swifty realizing his best hope right now is to catch out the one person on the side, and Navi has a lot of health though, might be able to still just walk out of this. Limster does get that grab, and Navi goes for the ulti, does go down to Swifty. So Swifty able to pick up at least a kill after all of that damage that just happened to the rest of the map. Meanwhile, in the mid lane we have so many minions, so many UB members about to just march in with Baron empowered minions towards that inhibitor.
Yeah, there's only one thing I can really chalk that up to, and that's when you're in your head where, Civilock just did the cool 1v1 thing, and he's gonna make the highlight reel. There was the Ultravox ult in the middle, that was pretty cool. And Anavi's like, if I want a chance at the real 2, I gotta do something real fancy right here. And just sometimes it doesn't work out the way you thought. Sometimes the buttons do just do. So.
Oh no, Limster ended up getting his recall canceled there. So 3 people of Universal Basic are able to keep marching, but Utility Monster gets taken away into the Death Realm, and Limster is able to pick up a kill for all of that. But this is still 4 members of Universal Basic Income just charging into the Nexus of OVS. They still have Baron buff. They still have cannon minions. More minions are on their way. This might be YUBI deciding let's just back off. We don't actually need to fully pressure this. There are still 5 members of OVS still remaining. They're going to decide just maybe take some of their camps and push down that bot lane tower.
Yeah, I like the thought there from Utility Monster trying to slow it down, and they do end up getting the entire mid lane in a tower for their trouble. So if with that, OVS is going to have to be on their back foot as they manage space a little better. Like that, they're going to try and put as much pressure down, knowing that a couple members are indisposed, trying to get as much gold back off as they can. And Civilock.
Okay, and Navi engages onto Freedom Potatoes. Civilock is in the wings as well, is around to help him out, gets that final Q for Navi. They finally get that kill onto Freedom Potatoes. Now there are 3 members of OVS marching through the Dragon River. They might try to cut off these 2 members of Universal Basic Income, but YUBI, very smart of them to just walk around the long way. They don't actually have to get caught out here. They have enough distance. They have enough time. This should be a free soul for YUBI, and OVS might have to just watch and let this happen. They still don't have their mid laner available for this. Dragon up in 13 seconds. YUBI can play this very calmly. They don't have to start a fight or anything like that. Even if they started one, they probably definitely are strong enough to to take them down.
Yep, exactly there. I think you touched on it perfectly, that this fight means a lot more if OVS loses than it does if they win. So UB is perfectly fine with just chilling. Even if they wanted to, while they were doing Dragon, they could run straight down mid. Freedom Potatoes has no teleport, so really just being able to make those smart decisions in these high-pressure situations is really what's going to be able to define a lot of these decision-making moments, especially not even in just this game, but going further into the season to get to that playoff spot that a lot of these people are wanting. Because I think we're contested for 4 people tied in the bottom.
Something like that, yeah.
That will be eliminated. So every game counts. Every decision like this matters in this super long league that we've got going on with Super Week. So
Yeah,
I'm liking that these teams are taking the discipline to make those decisions. And despite that, I don't think it's going to change too much about the outcome. But I think
yeah.
it's good to practice.
This is a very... Oh, okay, Shockwave goes through Freedom Potatoes, gets 2 people, but not enough damage to really convince Ultravox and Civillock away from this fight. Swifty now charging at them. The rest of UB slightly backpedaling. I mean, they still feel... they still look stronger. They still feel like they're adding more pressure than OVS can even fend off. But I mean, Leah, like you were saying, I mean, this is such great patience, such great decision-making, especially here towards the second half of the split. And you know, this is such a crazy contrast from yesterday. UB was playing a little lost yesterday, but this is the UB we're used to seeing. This is the UB that clearly just takes control of the entire map, takes control of your pacing. And if you misstep just a little bit, they're able to just take down one tower, which just catapults into the rest of the map being taken. Now OVS, we've seen them before. We've seen them for 5 weeks now. We've seen them come from behind. We've seen them place very strong into these situations, but OVS obviously very patient here. They're waiting for some kind of opening. I don't know if there even will be one available for them. We see Limster in the wings trying to catch someone out who might be just waiting in the wings of this jungle, but Zenzen knows exactly where he should place himself. He ends up with the hook onto Limster. A small fight has happened. Ultravox cleanses the Mordekaiser ulti, and Milio goes down to Civillock, immediately gets deleted. Sorry, I don't think he actually comes. I can see. Okay, and that's going to be Swifty going down as well. Zenzen really low on HP as well, but Freedom Potatoes gets deleted by Utility Monster. Utility Monster still fighting Lifrith, doesn't have an angle in, has to jump out. Zenzen zoning him away as well. Utility Monster goes golden, trying to stay alive, heals up that last bit of HP. The rest of UB are still alive, and only one member of OVS is remaining. This could be it. This is just going to be UB marching down this mid lane. They're going to be able to get all their members here with that. And able to just take down this tower. Clean macro game by the side of Universal Basic Income. They're going to go for that one more kill onto Lifrith as well. Utility Monster dying at the end, just like Utility Monster does. And that's it. Universal Basic Income take down OVS in their rematch for the second half.
Yeah, that was a pretty good, exciting game. It really just boiled down to UB being able to find the lead and really just kind of control the pace of the game thereafter. A little hard in their like, I don't know, like 10-minute mark or so around the second dragon. So a little still things that they can learn. But however, I think Ultravox being back in the 80 carry position is fantastic. I love to see it. I think he went deathless this game. His DPS was out of this world, so feels good. I bet. And then Anavi had a little bit of struggle there, but I think he still did really great, and he understood the role and what he was supposed to be doing on the map. So nothing to scoff at there either. So fantastic switch, I think, for them, and I'd love to see this continue personally going forward. But other than that, a fantastic game on my side.
Yeah, I'm very curious if the Anavi Ultravox switch is going to be permanent, if that's going to continue. I mean, Anavi had a rough lane, but still actually played his role perfectly in later parts of the game. So both Ultravox and Anavi performing well in their rematch against OVS, which I'm sure UB really wanted to win. It was their opening match this season, and they lost against OVS in their first game. So that's got to feel good for UB to get their revenge. That doesn't mean that this is it between these two teams, though. There's a chance that these two might play each other in playoffs in a best-of-5. That might be the next time that they meet. Who knows? We'll see. But we have another game coming up. Up next, though, we do have an interview with our winners. I believe it's an interview with UB Zenzen. So thank you guys so much for watching. Shout outs to production. Shout out to Theracles. Shout out to Twitch chat. Shout out to Logitech G Academy of Art and Adobe Creative Cloud. We will see you guys in the next game. Thank you so much.
Hello, folks, and welcome to the Friend or Foe interview desk. I am your friendly neighborhood chatcaster Shark, I have got Zen right here, the Thresh with the best hooks in the West right now, over here on the caster's desk. Zen, thank you for joining me.
Thanks so much for the opportunity, Shargan. Very excited to be sort of back on our feet over here at YUBI.
I was going to say, you guys had a little bit of a rough start this season. Want to make a comment on that?
Well, you know, this is a team that has a lot of high expectations for ourselves. This organization has been 3-time Friend or Foe champions, as you know, and I've been a champion myself back when I played on Rex Regalis. And we had high hopes for this roster, but we were having some, concerning communication issues. We were struggling to really find our footing and what style we wanted to play. I think that this game sparks a return to form, and I cannot wait to get into the second half of the season.
Yeah, and speaking return to form, looks like you had a little bit of a role swap with putting a Navi up in the top lane, Ultravox back in the bot lane. Was there a particular reason you had that swap set up initially?
So why did we play a Navi a Navi AD carry in the first half? Okay, so initially we were looking at our two characters, and both these players have played an extensive amount of top lane and AD carry, so they're fairly comparable between the two. We liked that Ultravox's initial champion pool heading into the season was a lot of bruisery, tank guys, things like Ornn. He could play our famous B1 Maokai. He could play Malphite, right? Which are characters that Navi can play, but is not quite as practiced with. So we initially started the season with this setup in mind, where Navi would play AD carry. Now, though, I think that we've had some long discussions as a team, and I think that we are open to swapping these players in and out as necessary, which I think is really exciting. It's going to be somewhat odd. Might be hell for the statistics people. we're gonna give it a shot and see how it goes. And obviously, it worked out quite well this game.
It certainly did, and I think that's an exciting tool to have in your toolbox, just because of the fact you're able to pull out that crazy swap at the in the draft phase. It's like you got a lot more you've got to plan for, because you got two people with two different primary sets of champion pools. And we were talking a little bit prior to hopping online here. You wanted to talk about the vision control of that game, which it definitely seemed like YUBI had a much stronger handle on this time through.
Yeah, so I was role swapped into sport this season, and unfortunately I can only make about half of the games. But the one stat that I care about in this entire series, obviously the most important stat on, you know, the leaderboards at all, is vision score per minute, which is why I will remain the vision score per minute leader for all time, for as long as I can. Ramp, I'm coming for it. I see you with that 2.64, and you are not surpassing me. But I think that, like, this game, we really showcased the importance of vision. We were able to get multiple picks off in the jungle, you know, finding Trundle, finding Orianna, finding Mordekaiser in these key moments that made it very easy for us to sort of close out the game.
Absolutely. No, I think there were a few fights there that may have looked a little bit scraggly, but you were just able to get the nice hook early on, especially in that Mordekaiser in that last fight, able to pull him out. Doing a fantastic job there. So Zen got to give you props for that. With that, folks, that we are going to be taking a quick break, and we'll be right back. So Zen, thank you so much.
Happy to be here, Sheridan.
It was wonderful to have you. All right, folks, don't go away. We'll be right back. We've got an exciting game coming up next with In the Trees versus Art of War. That is going to be a spicy one, so don't go away. Stick around.